feeling, like not like the opposite of being on dates in like high school where you go somewhere and it's like, even if it's just like Red Robin, it's like, if this bitch gets the Whiskey River barbecue burger, I'm in trouble. Yeah. I hope she goes for a tavern mini.
I have a plan. If she orders a burger, I get a burger. If she orders lobster, I get water. We're fine.
No, I'm on a cleanse, the water cleanse.
Yeah, I've done that. Like, oh, that's what you get. I guess I'm not hungry tonight. It's all about you, babe. Like,
yeah.
That is a shitty move. You know, when like a high school girl being like, I'll have the steak. It's like, first of all, we're at Applebee's.
Man, they don't have that at Wendy's.
I never had that problem. Like my dad would always fund my dates pretty well. Oh. Like when I was a kid, like you know, like you don't want to go on a date if you got less than $100 in your pocket. Like that's not going to work out, right? Like,
wait, what?
How are you going to go on a date with less than $100 in your pocket?
I'm going on a date with $24 in my pocket.
Oh my goodness! The movies cost $24.
Yes, you have to.
We didn't go to the movies.
Like if you're taking a girl to dinner in the movies,
and we're walking,
like 16-year-old me taking a girl on a date. Let's just pretend I have gas in my car, which I don't. Let's but like. The movies are going to cost $20 at least, right? Like $9 and then tax, right? And then like, what are we going to not have popcorn? We're not going to have a drink. We're just going to sit there with nothing. Like this is going to be a $75 evening at least, and we should have a little buffer room. Like I can't relate to that because my dad, I would always be like, hey dad, because I'd work with my dad anyway, so like it wasn't like I was just like, hey, give me more money for free because I'm me. It'd be like I had like cut the grass, or I had worked on the farm, or I had done something. To earn this money.
Crazy enough, this is after Kyle stole his dad's truck and developed a heroin habit.
Yeah, this is last year. Actually. But you know, like if it was Valentine's Day, I'd be like, hey dad, I want to like get my girlfriend something nice for Valentine's Day. He's like, yeah, okay. How much do you think? What do you want to do? I'm like, I want to kind of do something nice this year. I want to get her this ridiculous like box of chocolates. He's like, how much is it? What do you mean a ridiculous box of chocolates? And I was like, it's $100. I was like, it's $110, Dad. He's like, that better be a big box of chocolates. I was like, Dad, it's so big, she's gonna freak out. He was like, show me, and I like showed him on my phone. He's like, that is a huge box of chocolates. She's gonna love that. And he's just like you know, because like, and when I brought her that box of chocolates that was so big you could barely get it inside of a car, she was blown away. She loved it. It was like she talked about that for years to come. You know, wow.
And she finished the chocolates, and you had to break it off.
Yeah. After she ate this chocolate, she was no longer desirable. It was pretty disgusting after that.
Did your parents give you money when you wanted it?
Me?
Taylor,
I needed it. I'll say, like I didn't ask for money when I wanted it. I only ever asked for money when I needed it.
Chocolates are a want, but Taylor,
it's Valentine's Day.
It would usually be like them just buying it for me, so it would never be like if I was like, I need a new hockey stick. My dad would be like, all right, let's go hockey stick shopping. It wouldn't be like, all right, how much is the one you want? Because my dad was a huge play it again sports guy. And like, even we'd go to like Total Hockey, and I would like always, I'm like 14, 15, 16, and I'm standing by like the brand new goalie sticks looking at the name, and it's like, oh, this is Dominic Hasek's curve. I could be as good as Dominic Hasek.
That is how that works.
That is how it works. So like, or I could choose to be Martin Brodeur. Oh, the Brodeur stick's $310. And my dad would be like, hey, have you ever heard of Whitey Buck? He was a AHL minor league goalie in the 50s, and here's one of his sticks. And like, and to his credit, it was like those sticks got trashed so quickly, it did not make a lick of sense for me to have a super nice one. And so it made more sense, or the way it worked for me mostly was like, if I needed something, I tell them, and then they take me shopping for it, not so much giving money to go buy it.
My parents, so as a kid, they supported me, right? I got all my clothes and food and stuff. Like, it wasn't like I had to make my way on my own. But if it was anything on top of the necessities, then typically I paid for it. And if I needed more money, he would lend it to me, but there was interest. And I remember it was 11% interest. Which was,
oh my God!
The thing is, the math on 11 is so much harder than 10. Right. And he chose 11 intentionally, which wasn't too far above the going rate at the time. The interest rates are lower now. But I had friends' parents offering me like 8% interest because they knew I was good for it.
This reminds me.
When it would be, he'd
so
keep
funny.
it on this. My father was an accountant, and he had this like extra long yellow like legal pad that he would tally all my stuff in. And he'd whip out the calculator, which was an accountant's professional calculator with the tape that went, and he didn't have to look at it or anything. He'd just be like, and just like whirring, and then he'd figure out my current like what the interest had accumulated to by that day, and I'd pay it down, and that was how borrowing money from my dad went.
Jesus.
Yeah, but then there were other gifts too. Like one of the ones I was a young adult, call me 23, right? So at this time I was working full time. I was going to school at night. I had a side business, and I was having a hard time paying my credit card. Like a life expense came up. I wasn't like super irresponsible. And I was going to work. I was installing networking cables in my father's office, and I was like physically wearing out. I was a mess. I have this like lightweight Tourette syndrome, and I'm twitching and I'm exhausted. And my father's looking at me like, what's up with this kid? And I'm like, I'm just tired, but I have to work. I have to work because I need money. And he's like, you need rest. Like not only are you working every waking moment, but you don't have enough sleeping moments. And he's like, what do you owe? And it wasn't a ton. Call it like $650. And he's like, I'm like cheering up, thinking about it. He's like, done. You get some rest. And that's how that day went. It was meaningful to me because he didn't just throw money away like that. But that day it was like,
Clearly. He's charging you interest. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! He's charging you interest.
yeah. But that day,
Like you're like, he chose 11 on purpose. He couldn't have just picked 9.
well, 9 has the same math.
math.
10 you can almost do in your head, right? But he's doing 11% interest. Yeah. But and there was a Christmas once where he paid my tuition that month. So like I was going to school at night, and that was a cool gift. But so yeah, he helped out here and there, but mostly he wanted me to pay my own bills.
I've had moments very, very similar to that. I was texting some girl, I don't know, back when it cost money to text, like across the country. And I didn't know. I was just texting all day and all night. And then one day he got like he was like $988 phone bill just for me. And my mom got the bill and she showed it to me. And my mom just looked at me and goes, you better probably not be here when your dad gets home from work. There's some places hiring I saw. You can go find them. And I was like, I thought that day was like my last day on earth. If I was going to see my dad at the end of that day. And I came home and I was like trying to find jobs like everywhere, McDonald's, all the fast food places, GNC, like anywhere that I could go in and get an application for, but no one would hire me like on the spot. So I went back home prepared to get kicked out, like is my mistake. And then I was like a little bit of a mess because I was afraid he was just going to disown me and kick me out. And I was crying a little bit, and he just gave me a hug. He said, don't worry about it, Josh. You're good. And I said,
see, I think maybe part of like why like my experience is different than you guys is like I worked with my dad like and did a man's work from the time I was like 11 or something like that. Like putting fucking shingles on roofs and like doing carpentry and PVC work and like climbing under houses and like working. Like you'd go and you would work all day. And like my dad always had like some flunky that was also hired to work, and I would outwork the flunky as a 12 or 13-year-old. And it was like, I think and I wasn't getting paid. I didn't get paid until I was like 15 or something like that, when it was like, yeah, you have a reason to have money now. Cause like, what's a 14-year-old need money for anyway? You know, like
you can't go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. But a 15-year-old, he's got some reasons to have some fucking money. And a 16-year-old certainly does. So like, then I started getting paid a little bit, but like, we would do like these big overhaul projects sometimes. Like I remember one time we did this thing where we were just like, I've talked this before with like poultry houses, how like we were retrofitting them. And it was this like, it was 2 or 3 weeks of solid work, 10 hours a day of carpentry and like insulation and PVC and like lots of hammer and nail work. And I remember he paid me $14 an hour, and he paid the Mexican guys that were working with us $12 an hour. And I was like the foreman. And I took that super seriously. I was like every time I saw them being lazy, I was like, come on, we got to get back to it. Come on. Like I ran the fucking crew. And I don't know. I took it super seriously.
That's
That was like just during the summer.
It wasn't a man's work. The employers in my area were about the beach and the boardwalk.
Yeah.
So it was a teenager's work, you know?
Yeah. I like that's why I've got like all those stories of like gruesome fucking injuries growing up and all these like ridiculous scars and stuff. Cause like, I don't know. I was always cutting myself open or smashing a finger or like getting attacked by wasps or something like that. It was an interesting childhood, but it taught me a lot of like work ethic, I guess. Like I was thinking today about like the times and like, you know, you think about those times in your past that make you cringe, like when you did something wrong or you fucked up. And I was saying there was this one day when like we were working and I had to go home and take a shit. And I went back home and I was so exhausted because I hadn't slept the night before. I was like 15 and I just like climbed into the bed to like try to like catch a little sleep, but I fell completely asleep. And like my dad came home. He had done all the work by himself and he came home and he was just like, what happened? What happened?
It's a good question, right? It's a good opener.
Yeah. What happened? And I'm just like, I thought I'd just like lie down for a minute and I don't know. What time is it? He's like, what fuck? Why does it matter what time it is? The work's over. We're done. We're done for the day. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. And I was just thinking about how embarrassing that was. Like how bad I felt that I had like left him in a pinch, you know, to do all my work and his work too. Like I thought about that today. I was in traffic today and I thought about that. It made me feel bad.